If you're at $500,000 a year, if you're at 2 million, 5 million, 8 million, the idea is not to shame a $2 million company or to necessarily prop up an $8 million company. The value is in the journey. The value is in us, no matter where we're at today, looking ahead, seeing what others are doing that are better than us and going, how do I incrementally get better over time? That's the goal. That's what we want to produce.
How do I make a move a better experience for a client? To be honest, you might actually not be the best person to answer that question. Your move crew might actually be a better group to answer that question because they're on those moves on a daily basis. But right now, they're not thinking about that. If they don't have those outcomes focused, right now, they're just doing a job to do a job.
Good morning or early afternoon for everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the start of 2026 webinars. Glad you guys are all here today. Let's make sure everyone can be in the chat. Dear Lord, I need to get a shirt that says, please make sure when you chat, you are chatting with everyone, not host and panelists. Travis Cole, you just did it.
I failed the test.
You failed the test.
But I'm happy to be an example for everybody else.
Yeah, and everyone else. If you guys... Everyone, just make sure your chat is working by putting a 1 in the chat if you are concerned with what Travis Cole is wearing today, because I am we have a lot of people very concerned for you. I will be asking the question, what is going on today about this?
I think let's give it a couple more minutes because I don't want to have to explain it a couple times,
Yeah, we'll give it a little bit more. I'm usually like a 10 or a 3 to 4 minute start kind of guy on webinars, so... Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining today.
Don't get it confused with team meetings. Those are the 10-minute rollouts,
Yeah, exactly. I hope everyone's doing well. We have got some exciting stuff going on today. We're going to go through what the $2 million companies do versus the $8 million companies. And I'm excited to go through that because it gives us all opportunities, including me, to just incrementally get better. I'll review that. But I'm also excited for all of you for your support. We have got some big lineups in the webinars coming up in the like quarter 2, quarter 3. I'm very excited about what we've got going on. So stay tuned for that. But what do you think? Should we just roll with this?
I'm very excited for today. Quarter 2 sounds good, but I'm very excited for today.
I'm excited for today too. I'm going to ask the question that everyone's asking right now. We are a premier digital marketing company. We pride ourselves on quality, pride ourselves on results, on being above and beyond. And yet you are showing up in the mountains with a ski mask on, looking, swell would be a way. How would you guys describe Travis Cole? Put it in there. I don't know how to describe him. Weird, immature, beautiful, fun. I don't know.
Well, you took all the adjectives, so I don't think they're going to put any suggestions in there.
Why the outfit, my man?
Arctic scientist. Thank you, Reese. Thank you, Reese.
Shout
out to you and Lawrence and Lenexa. Shout
Lauren,
out to you.
Too funny. Seriously, that's what's up with this? I need a story here. I need to have a hard conversation with you after this webinar.
All right. To be honest, I always like to pick a theme. And today, as I was reviewing the agenda for today's webinar, there is a theme of the webinar. There's a theme of what we're going to be talking about today that actually really kind of inspired me with the costume choice for today. And I'm really excited to go through this. Today's theme, I think, is really about kind of clarity and being able to know and see where you're at. And sometimes when I think about being in business, sometimes it's like riding down a mountain on a snowboard. You never really know what's under the snow. You really never know, like, if there's going to be a jump coming. I don't know if you have experience on the mountain, but it can be pretty crazy. Sometimes people come across you and there's blind sides. But what's really helpful is when you have the right goggles, when you have the right equipment, when you have a jacket that protects you from the snow. And so those are the things that we're going to be talking about, is the things that give you clarity, the things that you need to know in order to be best prepared to go through the year as a business. And so I'm really excited because I think this is going to be a little bit reminder of, like, what are the core things we need to be looking at. And I think that's the main part, is what are the core things we need to be looking at. And if we can't see them, we need to go find a way to go get that KPI. We need to go find a way to get that person to bring that information to me. We need to go get our goggles and we need to put them on, and that way we can run our business with clarity. So that's
Wow.
actually that's a very stretchy story, but honestly, it really does ring true.
It's a very stretchy story. I'll give it to you today, but
But
that was a stretch. Like
but
a
I'm gonna
pastor
go with
reaching
goggles
in.
off.
Yeah, that would be
It's
great.
a little toasty.
You're ridiculous. Well, let's get going, guys. I appreciate you joining. It's 10:05. It's time to do this. We've got a lot to go through and some golden nuggets at the end if you guys ever so choose. So I'm going to get my chat out here and so I can see your chats here. Let's begin. What we're going through is what separates $2 million versus $8 million moving companies. Now, here's a warning and some insight. Number one, this is taken from data. So a lot of the stuff we have is taken from data. We work with over 175 moving companies on a monthly basis, growing their marketing. And in that, we want to be a holistic growth partner to you guys, to our clients. We want to come in and execute well with quality and with speed, SEO, PPC that gets you an ROI, like my board in the back, ROI, right? But that is one piece of the puzzle. And the other piece of the puzzle is, let's say, your sales. And so we come in and holistically, we're looking at your sales process. We record all your sales calls. We're going to listen and grade them. We're going to look and match up all the final attribution. So we come in holistically. So this is where all this is coming from, is we are coming from a place of we see it over and over again, and we work with so many moving companies. So this is something that separates the $2 million versus the $8 million companies. Final warning, and we do have a time limit. I'd love to finish up on the hour because we've been pushing it in 2025 past the hour. So it's a reminder to me. The second warning is this. If you're at $500,000 a year, if you're at 2 million, 5 million, 8 million, the idea is not to shame a $2 million company or to necessarily prop up an $8 million company. The value is in the journey. The value is in us, no matter where we're at today, looking ahead, seeing what others are doing that are better than us and going, how do I incrementally get better over time? That's the goal. That's what we want to produce. So with that being said, we're going to roll right into it. We've got three pillars that I believe are very important as the umbrella to say with these three pillars, these are what separates $2 million and $3 million or $8 million moving companies. Pillar number one. This is really important. This is one I would say no one is really talking about in the moving industry. We've got a bazillion and a half conferences, a bazillion and a half webinars nowadays, and nobody is really talking about this, and it's very important. People with outcomes. So we're going to go through this. Let's start with the hiring process on people with outcomes. You might want to get your pen and paper for this. A 2 million, am I talking too fast? Honestly, no. I'm going to need somebody in the chat to say yes, too fast, or no, good speed before I move on, because I just need to know, am I going too fast? No, good speed. No, good speed. All right, sweet. All right, hiring. $2 million moving company. Here's what a $2 million moving company does when it comes to the hiring process, and this could be you. They hire people using job descriptions. They have characteristics. They have details. They have information, but it's a job description, and they hire and give clarity by a job description. A $2 million moving company manages people through effort and vibe. I'm guilty of this. You have a good vibe with someone. You're like, man, I really like this person, or this person has been here for a while, or they give so much effort. That's what a $2 million moving company looks like when it comes to the hiring process. Now, how does this change to an $8 million moving company? Now, the problem with the $2 million moving company we'll see here is what? The problem is effort doesn't pay the bills. Vibe doesn't pay the bills. And most job descriptions don't give clarity. Like Travis Cole and his stupid son, goggles, he needs the clarity. An $8 million moving company hires people using outcome focused job descriptions. Now, here's what I mean by that. It means something objectively that you can track. So the easiest one is sales. Sales would be an easy one. You hire a sales manager, a salesperson. You're not hiring them for the description to pick up the phone and talk to people. You're hiring them because they need to close a certain amount of book jobs per move. Maybe you have an outside salesperson that's out there doing estimates or going into the neighborhoods and talking with people. They have a quota. They need to have a quota. Now, it needs to be realistic based off historical data in your company, but they need to be outcome focused. So, an $8 million moving company manages people against the culture and the outcomes. They look at, are they a good culture fit? And they look at, are they creating objective outcomes in my moving business? If the answer is no, we'll see later on that $8 million moving companies, they fire fast because there are people out there who are ready to create the outcomes you need. The problem is one of the best things we can do for our employees is to get very clear on what the role and the value is that they provide at the company. So if you have any questions on this, put it in there if that makes sense. But your big takeaway on this slide is your job description should tell candidates exactly what outcomes they will own, not just what tasks they will do. What are the outcomes? What are the objective outcomes you need them to bring to the business? And this, just thinking about this, is such a actually interesting, strangely hard thing to do as owners. And it'll be one of the best things you can do in your company in 2026 to win, is to sit down and look at every role and go, what are the objective outcomes that they need to achieve? Ready? Moving on. Next, under the pillar of people with outcomes is compensation. Here's what a $2 million moving company does. They have no connection between the crew performance and the online reputation. And a $2 million moving company, the ops manager gets paid the same whether the trucks net $800 a day or $2,200 a day. Okay. Now, ignore the numbers. What is the theme here? Put it in the chat. What is the theme here that the $2 million company gets stuck in? They get stuck in the day to day. They're working, they're going hard, they're building a great company. $2 million is phenomenal to get to and very hard to do. But a $2 million moving company gets stuck in tying compensation to performance. And the first one, we talked about the outcomes, the performance. Now we want to tie the compensation to it. So what does an $8 million company do? Over and over, we see the big companies that work with us, their crew is highly incentivized and compensated in bonus tied to reputation and client success. They have a base hourly wage and they have bonuses based off client success, reviews, gathering reviews. You want to know how some of the biggest companies get so many reviews so fast? They tie the performance of the crew and their compensation to what they want. And second, their bonus is tied, like an ops manager, their bonus is tied to labor cost, overtime control, profit per truck per day, etc. Claims. Ops managers in $8 million moving companies, they have a base salary and they have very clear metrics that their bonuses are tied to performance. A $2 million moving company gets stuck paying a salary, small bonuses, and then just kind of like, let's just keep this business afloat. So your big takeaway here is your online reputation is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in future revenue. But your $2 million moving company, that crew has zero or very little financial reason to care about it. So as you want to grow, as you want to incrementally get better, you want to tie that reputation, that future revenue to the compensation today. All right, moving on to pillar number 2.
Can I hop in here for a sec?
Hop in, man.
All right. Yeah, I want to flesh it out just a little bit more. How important it is to get these outcomes very, very clear, I think is huge. And I think, speaking from our own experience, I think that when you don't have these outcomes clear on job descriptions, and when you don't have these outcomes clear for those team members, do you know who owns those outcomes? It's you as the owner, being the sole person driving all the outcomes, not just for the crew, not just for the operations, but also for the marketing and also for this and also for that. And so one of the things that's also really great about making it clear from the beginning is they own those outcomes and they're going to be the ones that push those forward. If they're not the ones pushing those forward, it's waiting on you to push them forward, which means you are stuck in the day-to-day and you're not actually improving your service. You're not improving your efficiency on a day-to-day moves and things like that. And so this is huge. All this is great. And the importance also of you as an owner being able to do this and learn how to do this, or even your ops manager thinking about this and how can they actually better empower their teams to own those outcomes a little bit better. Well, how do I make a move a better experience for a client? To be honest, you might actually not be the best person to answer that question. Your move crew might actually be a better group to answer that question because they're on those moves on a daily basis. But right now, they're not thinking about that. If they don't have those outcomes focused, right now, they're just doing a job to do a job, which is fine. But if you want better outputs from the crew, from your ops manager, you have to make it clear what they own.
Yeah.
Do that. They're going to support you in the direction you want to go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And if you would have worn your little glasses, you might have hit harder. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Pillar number 2, performance with results. This is very, very important. Now we're going to go into what $8 million moving companies do. $8 million moving companies, you can take the whole bag. $8 million moving companies, what they do is they want to perform in their company, but they want to get results. They don't want to just dispatch trucks. They want to dispatch trucks that have profit. They don't want to just get marketing done. They want to get marketing done by tracking results and seeing the results. Now, all of us, there's probably not one person here that would go, nope, I'd like to just do things. Of course. But this is why we're going through this, because we can get stuck in this root or rat or rut. That's the word I was looking for, not rat. We can get stuck in this rut of just kind of executing, forgetting about all the things that we're doing that need to actually come with results. And if we're not tracking that, we're missing out. So let's jump into it. Marketing diversification. By far, I think this is a huge distinction. One of the things that we look at on our sales calls, and again, this is not to diminish anybody at this place right now, but when we talk about companies that we want to work with, the big companies, the ones that take action fast, that move the needle, one of the things we look for is we ask, how do you get your current moves? And we are listening for diversification. If you say, oh, I just do digital marketing and I do referrals, that's about it, right? One of the red flags for us is that, because the big $8 million moving companies, they are diversified and always looking for diversification. They're doing postcards, they're doing realtor networks, they're doing podcasts, they're doing everything they can. So a $2 million moving company relies on 1 or 2 marketing channels that kind of have always worked, and they get stuck in this rut. And a $2 million moving company, they're not testing new channels. They're stuck in what has worked last year, or this is how we've always done this, but ultimately they're not testing. And they basically, any acquisition channel they write off, even if they haven't given the appropriate time or budget for it. So I find that very important to know, not giving the appropriate time or budget for it. Okay. Now, how does this contrast to an $8 million moving company? Well, an $8 million moving company constantly is testing new channel and campaigns and strategies alongside with the core performers. So let's say you're sitting here and you're doing SEO, and you know SEO is tracking really, really well. Then guess what? Is it really loud on your end, or is it picking me up just fine? No, it's good. All right, sweet. So you're doing SEO. It's going really well. Well, now it's time to stand up Google Ads. Well, you're not stopping SEO. You're standing up Google Ads. Now, what makes the difference here with an $8 million moving company is they hold off on investing in new channels until they can go all in to test. This is key. I want you to write this down or take this in. An $8 million moving company and above holds off on investing in new channels until they can go all in to test. We see this all the time. I feel like I am one of the biggest advocates for my clients, because some of my clients and our clients here, they just want to test. They want to throw a little dollar at here and a little dollar at here. And they go, let me see if it works. And the problem with that is they're not doing all in, and they're not giving the time appropriate. Why? Because normally they just don't have the funds, or they don't have the team to do that. And that's okay. But the $8 million moving companies, they wait and they wait and they wait. And then when they execute, they go all in. And they kill what doesn't work very quickly. 30, 60, 90 days, whatever the appropriate timeline for that marketing or for that acquisition channel, they kill it when it's not working. So your takeaway on this: marketing diversification. If you want to be more like an $8 million moving company, they're always trying to stand up new acquisition channels, and they're holding off. Hear me out, please. I want to shout this from the rooftop. They hold off on spending time and money until they can test and go all in. All right. Ready for the next one? Truck operations. We'll go through this one. Truck operations. Now, you may go, how does this tie into all of this? Well, it's to give an applicational view for you of what performance with results is. Performance is trucks going and being sent out. Results is the results you need to track and get and gain for the value of your company. Stanley, you said what would consider all in 90-day commitment. Let's go back and answer that, and then we'll go to truck operations. every marketing channel. You can do some research between Claude, ChatGPT, asking wisdom from people you know like us, to get an understanding of what a good all-in budget looks like and timeline. So if you were going to ask us for SEO, we could tell you a budget based off where you're at, right? It could be $2,000, $4,000 a month. And we're going to tell you a timeline of about 9 months at a minimum, or about 6 months to see XYZ happen, or about 12 months. But for Google Ads, we're going to tell you 90 days. 90 days is about what you need to consider, and here's the budget you need. So you have to do your own investigation. You have to own this. You have to do your own investigation to say, what is the rough timeline I need to do and the budget, and then start saving for that versus just testing. And we're actually going to go through this a little bit more. And so I'm going to answer this question deeper, especially when it comes to Google Ads later on. So, truck operations, $2 million moving company focuses on truck business or utilization, right? They're looking at, did we send all our trucks out? How busy are we with our trucks? They're celebrating, man, all of our trucks ran 6 days this week. Now, take a pause. There's nothing wrong with celebrating that. I love that. That's amazing. What a cool milestone. Pop the champagne. But this is about, how do we get intentionally and incrementally better? So you celebrate the trucks all days. Well, what is that difference? Well, an $8 million moving company, they're focusing on the profitability of the trucks. They would rather leave a truck idle rather than run a money-losing job or a break-even job. Now, some of them will run break-even jobs strategically because they want to keep their crew going and employed and with money, or with job to do. That's fine. But no, they have a reason. They have a purpose. So all of this is good. Celebrating that trucks ran 6 days a week is totally great. But when you look at like our clients that are doing $8 million plus, they know their numbers on truck profitability. They know their numbers on whether they're going to take that 2-bedroom move that's 60 miles away or 40 miles away. They know their numbers on it. So take this, screenshot this as a reminder. You don't need to go change this overnight, but how do we start tracking profitability per truck? How do we start getting more granular? Does that mean we need to hire a Ready Rolls financial person to start getting that detailed clarity on every single move? Maybe. Or maybe we just need to start looking at it on a monthly overall basis, but we need to start looking at profitability. Your ops manager, if you are big enough to have an ops manager, they need to own this. They need to own the labor cost per job, the materials waste, the overtime expenses, the claims, the route efficiency, not just whether the schedule is full. That's ultimately where it's at. Their job is not to get the schedule full. Their job is to create profitable gross revenue in your company. All right. Pause right there. Time check. 10:23. I think we're rolling right on time, because I want to get in towards later on. We got some goodies coming up that you're not going to want to miss, some hacks if you guys choose. But you're going to have to choose to go down that fork in the road. But if you do, we got some hacks that you are going to want to know that can save you a ton of money this year. So, let's jump into lead sales and attribution. I know you guys hear from me all the time on this. I'm actually going to go hopefully swifter on this, but a $2 million versus an $8 million moving company. You're going to be sick of me saying that at the end of the day. No idea. $2 million moving company owner, they have no idea what channels work. They have gut feelings. Hear me out. Emotional gut feelings. And they don't track UTMs. Now, I want to paint a picture with you. Our clients, when you work with us, our job and what we're trying to do is get clarity for you. But many times, our owners, our clients, and this could be you make decisions based off emotion. You feel like it's slow. The QuickBooks revenue was down. The profit was down. But you have a quick emotional decision on what acquisition channel you're going to blame. Derek, we're going to go through UTMs in 1 second. Now, I want you to move away from that. I want you to move towards, in 2026. In 2026, I want you to move towards getting clarity of what is working and driving revenue and driving leads in your business. You do that, and that alone in 2026, you will be out your competitors. Promise you. Because you're going to be able to spend more on what works, spend less on what doesn't. So for those of you that don't know what UTM is, it stands for some random word. We don't need to know that. But what it is it is a tracking or data that can go onto all of your traffic. And it allows you as a moving owner to know, did this person come to my website from Facebook? Did they come from Thumbtack? Angie's List? Yelp? Did they come from my Google business profile? Did they come from a Google SEO search? Like, where did this person get to my website? And it's a data that goes into the URL, and that data allows you to then understand where your traffic is coming from. Now, it's very important because we're going to move on here, but Kyle, Travis, when you want to put the URL to rotatedigital.com/UTM so that you guys can check out more details on that. But a $2 million moving company can't answer cost per booked move by channel. They can't answer that. They look at aggregate combinations. I had $100,000 in sales. I spent $15,000 a month in marketing. That's what a $2 million moving company is doing. They rely on the marketing agency to own this attribution, by the way. Now, hear me out. This may be a little weird. They rely on the marketing agency to own this. It is, listen up here, it is your job. It is your job as an owner. As an owner, you must own this yourself. Now, you do not need to execute on this, but you need to have the knowledge to own this yourself. This is just a reality check. This is your business. You need to own the attribution. You need to own how this works and why this works. Now, if you do that, you can leverage a marketing company to execute. Because look, an $8 million moving company, they tie leads and revenue directly to a source. They're not just relying on sales calls and what the sales team or you put in the CRM. They're relying on marketing data, the UTMs, and they're relying on what the salesperson says over the call to tie marketing revenue and leads to a source. Their Google is separated in attribution. Some of you guys tie all your Google together. When I ask you, hey, how much money did you make from Google? And you go, $20,000 this month or $40,000 or whatever it is. And I say, great, well then how much from SEO, PPC, and LSA? And you go, I don't know. That's a problem. An $8 million moving company, they have those separated. They know exactly what their return on investment is. And although they own the company attribution as the owner, they leverage an agency to take action and to execute on this. This is what we do at Rotate Digital. When you become a client of ours, when you decide to work with us, we are going to get all the traffic, all the data. We're going to get all that tied together to your sales calls, to your marketing, to your revenue, to your leads, so you know exactly what you're getting a return on for leads and revenue. So, your takeaway on this. If you can't tell me, if I called you today and you can't tell me whether your $3,000 a month on SEO investment books more moves than your $4,500 a month on Google ad spend, you are flying blind and you are going to lose the game. Because why? Because the $8 million moving company knows exactly what is working, and then they double, triple, quadruple down on it. They see that Google Ads is working because they know the exact ROI, so they spend 5 times more than that. What does that do to them? It gives all the leads, all the revenue to their business, and then you are stuck, sad, complaining, unsure of why leads aren't calling you because you're spending money on a channel that you think is working, but you don't actually know. It could be working really well, or it could not be working at all. You must do this. This is one of the most ethical and moral ways that you can steal other companies' future clients is by getting your attribution right so that you can spend the right money on the right resources. All right, moving on. People come in through a web form or phone call. That's how they contact you. UTMs will help you identify where they came from. 4 phone calls. This is like a little ninja hack. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I can do a whole webinar. If you guys want, just let me know in the chat if you guys want that. I can do a whole webinar on step by step on how to set up attribution, tools to use, how do you do it yourself, what would it cost to use another company. But you want to get What Converts a Call Rail installed. So keep that, put it in your back pocket. Review them when you're, in bed wanting to learn about these companies. We're not going to dive deep down into this. There is a company called Marketing Clarity, marketingclarity.com. That marketingclarity.com allows you to buy a sticky UTM platform or code that basically for $99 a month will force all data on your traffic so that if they come from ChatGPT, if they come from AI, if they come from Yelp, if they come from Facebook, if they come from Google Ads, SEO, LSA, you know where they came from. So when they fill out that form, you know exactly where they came from. So you can go check that out. You can get a sales call with them, but it's $99 a month, and it's a great resource to have for your tribe. You're going to take, if you're like, I'm going to take one action on this, this would be a perfect first step action in 2026. Quarter one, 2026, you start with this. Quarter two, we can go deeper. But again, this is not about attribution. I've got to move on because I will stay here forever in attribution. Did we get people that want to do an attribution webinar or no?
Yep.
Ooh, yay. All right. Pillar number 3. We will speed this up and see if you guys want to go to the ninja hacks or not. Pillar number 3, execution with speed. So I look at all the companies doing $1-2 million, and then we look at some of our big clients, the big clients that are doing $8-20 million a year. We have a couple clients doing way more than that. And I look at what is the difference. Here is the difference. The big companies, they execute with crazy amount of speed. They execute so fast on these things. Now, we're going to hit the overall principle, but how does this play out? If you're going to be an $8 million company, if you're going to incrementally get better, what does it look like to execute with speed? Lead response time. That's what it looks like. How does that look, Travis? Well, it's a $2 million moving company. They go, man, you guys need to call back fast. Makes sense. You want them to call back fast with speed, but you don't track it. You don't track whether they are doing it or not, whether what sales rep is doing it or not doing it. A $2 million company, they result or default to only calls. Somebody emails in, they call back. Someone texts in, they call back. Somebody fills out a lead form, they call back. That's a $2 million moving company. Not bad. Calling is not bad. Hear me out. A $2 million moving company, they are passive on reviewing lead accountability. Meaning, if a lead or a call comes in, are we looking at the call to see if somebody answered it? If a lead comes in that doesn't book on that call, do we have accountability to look back and to see if we've been following up? I can't tell you how many times I jump on with a client and I say, "Hey, I'm showing you some." They're like, "Hey, my sales are down." And I go, great. One of the first things I start at is, how is your sales process? Because one of the fastest things we can improve that we have in control in our hands is that we have the ability to use the leads that we're already getting and just be better at sales with them. And time over time, I go into clients, Smart Moving or Chariot or Supermove or whatever their CRM is, and I look and I see that they got one call back and that's it. I see that they only reached out once. And I'm like, hey, this lead has been in here for 4 days and we just called him once. Like, that's a problem. That's what a $2 million moving company does. What an $8 million moving company does is they track individual and company-wide response time to leads. Individual and company-wide response times to leads. Now, I'm going to share this with you because I've got a story coming up. They also use the client preferred channels to communicate with leads. One of the easiest, most impactful things you can do in 2026 that you can implement very quickly is start being a company that texts. We are busy people. More and more people do not want to talk on the phone. More and more people do not want to email. More and more people just want to communicate quickly over text. Now, that doesn't mean we have to give a full quote and estimate over text. But what it does mean is when I jump on my lunch break or in a meeting that I'm checked out on and I go in because my wife's telling me I need to book a mover and I go fill out a lead form, if you call me and I can't answer it, you need to be the company that then texts, because that person can surely start texting you. And guess what? By the end of the day, when you're able to talk on the phone with them, who is he going to call? Who is she going to call? The person that builds the equity over texting over the course of those, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. The companies that are winning, the companies that are growing, they are leveraging texting. They're letting people know, even on their website, you can text this number. And they are winning more leads and more moves because of it. And then they review their leads daily. Phone call comes in, they make sure somebody calls that back. They make sure there's documentation on that. Lead comes in, they have accountability processes to make sure that they follow up and do it again. So if you're spending thousands of dollars on marketing to generate leads, you're going to be losing 30 to 40% of them if you're going to take a while to respond to them. And I've got a story. It's David and Goliath. I want to share this story. Now, hear me out. That's David if you don't know. That's Goliath if you don't know. Welcome. Here we go. David and Goliath. The David and Goliath story with a real two customers, two clients in the last 90 days with us. Company number one was the Goliath company. I'm gonna go through this, and you guys are gonna understand how valuable it is to have speed of lead here. They're in Austin, Texas. Real company. They're like, if you go and look for like the top 5 most reviewed Austin, Texas companies, one of those is the one I'm talking about. Like, they are the top dog, the most well known in top review. They have nearly 5 stars. Like, they have great reviews. They have the most reviews of everyone. They are the Goliath. Okay. You should be hearing this. And if you're not one of them, go, man, that's kind of hard. Like, oh, I wish I had that many. And they're a dominating brand. You think moving in Austin, Texas, you think this brand or one of these brands. Like, they are amazing. Yet, they also spend $10,000 on Google Ads. Now, company number 2, by the way, not LSA. This is Google traditional ads. Now, company number 2, they're in Austin, Texas. But they have just enough reviews. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But they've got 100, 120, 150 reviews. It's enough, but it's nothing compared to all the companies in Austin, Texas. And they have nearly 5-star reviews, just like the Goliath company. But they're really ultimately an unknown brand. I would tell you this brand name today if I could, or if I would. And you would be like, huh? Who? Interesting. Like, it's an unknown brand. People don't really know of this brand. But they spend $10,000 a month on Google Ads. You want to know the difference here? Think Goliath versus David. Company number 1, the big brand, the ones who should be absolutely crushing it on Google Ads right now. They're fighting to break even on ROI. They're starting to get better, but they're fighting to break even. And company number 2, crushing it, 4.8 times ROI. Now, you may sit here and be like, I'm getting 10 times ROI. Come to me after. I'll take a $500 bet and promise you're probably not. But 4.8 times ROI is really good with Google Ads right now. Okay. What is the difference? What do you guys think? What is the difference? You've got to know. Put it in the chat. What do you think is the difference between company number 1, the one who should be dominating, yet they're fighting to break even, versus company number 2, the David and Goliath? Follow up? Great. Love that. Response time. Company number 1 is doing 40-minute response time, and company number 2 is doing 3.5-minute response time. Hear me out. One of the other most impactful things you can do in 2026 to win the game is increase or decrease your response time. Now, some of you guys may be seeing 40 minutes and go, wow, that's good. Amazing that you see that, because guess what? You just see an opportunity in your business to make more money without spending more money on marketing, without doing anything else outside of crafting you or your sales team to call faster back, to text faster back, to get in communication faster. And some of you guys may be seeing the 3.5 minutes and go, holy crap, that's really good. Yep, it is. And that's why they're winning. So you want to get the best out of your marketing, the most dollars out of your marketing. You want to ethically and morally steal customers from the Goliaths of your local city. This is the way to do it, by faster responses, faster texts, faster calls. Let's move on here so we can land the plane. Perfect. We're on time. Follow up. I see. I'm looking at some chat here. Lead attribution, speed of lead. Great guess. Yep. Reese, what do you typically see for the after hours response time or solution to it? We see 2 things. One, we see somebody manning the phone to like the 9 or 10 o'clock at night, where there's somebody who's kind of on call, and they'll pick up the phone. They won't go through a whole thing. They'll just answer, say, hey, this is XYZ moving. Get some quick information, say it's late, or they'll text back. We also see AI being implemented. Told me about AI being implemented at some companies he knows, doing really well for an answering machine. But the key is you have to call it out. You have to say, hey, this is an AI. Our job is to collect some information so that the very beginning of our morning, our real human team will call you back. And that's something that works really well, Reese. That's something that we're seeing work in the industry. You must be telling people that this is AI, though. We don't see it working any other way. Or owners taking late calls. And Travis says that. I am glad you bring it up, because it is just a time. It's a tough time in the movie industry. The leads are tight. There's a high demand. So the owners that take those calls late at night are sometimes the owners that get the opportunity to build relational equity quicker than anybody else. And so they're going to win that. Great question. Let's move on. Employee decisions, $2 million moving company. They say things like, man, this guy or gal, they're trying so hard. Or, man, I can tell you, I have a company in mind right now. They've been around for so long. They just know how this all works. They've been around for so long. $2 million moving company says everyone on the or a $2 million moving company, everyone on the team knows who should be gone, but you don't pull the trigger. That's a $2 million moving company. The grandma that is answering sales calls because they've been around for 20 years, but it's probably time to part ways. The other $2 million moving company, they go, it's probably time to part ways with grandma, but it takes 5 months to pull that trigger. How is that different than an $8 million moving company when it comes to execution with speed? $8 million moving company focuses on the outcomes and the bottom line metrics to make decisions on employees. Remember, we talked about people with outcomes. They leverage that foundation of people with outcomes and culture to go, is this person a culture fit? And are they hitting the outcomes we need? If not, they sit down with the person, they try to make it better. And if not, very quickly, they say, hey, lady, male, thank you so much. Thank you so much for trying. I appreciate your effort. But we have an agreement that we came on that you needed to create this outcome and you're not creating it. So thank you so much for your time, but I've got to go. I've got to move on. Right? That's what they do. And they take 1 month or less to pull the trigger on firing. The $8 million moving company moves swift with people. Every day when you tolerate underperformance, performers, you're telling your A players that the results don't matter and you then risk their job because if you keep those B, C, D players or C, D players, the people who are not creating the outcomes, when you keep them around, you risk your business revenue. You risk having bad customer reviews, bad moves, broken items, not good sales process, not good customer service, which ultimately lowers your revenue, lowers the people working with you, and puts everyone's job at risk. You have to remember this. I jump on the phone call with clients all the time and I ask them about different people and they go, oh, yeah, but they're not really good at that. Oh, yeah, but they're not this. It's like, what are their outcomes and are they hitting it? Are they not hitting it? We have to create a business that will go through the ups and downs of the economy, will grow in the good seasons and stay profitable in the slow seasons. And you only do that with top-notch players and getting rid of the low performers. All right, we're coming down. The last ones here. You ready to rock and roll? Company opportunities. We've kind of talked about this. We'll go very swiftly through this. $2 million moving companies, they are meeting heavy on planning and strategy. They get an opportunity. They say, hey, we jumped on Rotate Digital's webinar. Man, we want to get lead attribution. They start meeting and planning and talking and planning and meeting and planning. And next thing you know, life goes on. You've got to operate a company and you're still working on the same projects that you planned on 8 months ago. That's a $2 million moving company. A $2 million moving company owner is getting pestered by their vendors, their marketing agencies, their service providers, their insurance to take action. I'm telling you, night and day, the companies that we see in our clients that end up leaving us or churning out because they don't see results and nothing ever works are the same people that we have to follow up with over and over and over again to get an updated picture or to get an updated approval or to get something going on a website. And they're the same people that are getting pestered all the time because they need to take action. What does an $8 million moving owner do? They have a bias towards action. They care for taking action. They don't mind imperfection. They don't mind that at all. Their job is to beat perfect planning with imperfection, fast execution every time. They launch, test, and optimize initiatives, 3 initiatives at a time. The idea is not to get caught on the 3. The idea is that they execute, they go, they initiate. They don't take one thing, they go with what they have, the capacity, and they drive other people forward on action. There are no big moving companies that work with us where we have to follow up and follow up and follow up with them to get an approval on an SEO strategy, to get approval on something. They're the ones driving forward, and together we're driving forward. So look at that and just take a self look at yourself today because 2026 is your opportunity right now. Are you the moving company that is going to start taking more action faster, imperfect being better than more planning? Because that is going to be the difference in 2026. The companies that win in 2026 will take action fast. Pillar number 3, execution with speed. Execution compounds, delay is momentum handed over to the competitors who just simply started to take action. So, my question to you, which one are you going to be? The $8 million fast execution, the $2 million. That's your choice today. That concludes the webinar. But if you would like, we've got 4 or 5 tactics and tricks and insights to marketing, to Google Ads that you can use and leverage and keep in the back of your mind to take action on. So, do you want to see that, or do we want to end the call now? And I won't be offended. I won't get my feelings hurt. If everyone's like, hey, I'm busy, I don't have another 10 minutes, then let's end it because we got to go take action. And that is a win for all of us. I got two people. Let's go. I need at least a couple more. All right. Perfect. I knew I was going to manipulate you guys, so I did add it in. So, you know, show me the money, baby. There we go. All right, rapid fire gold nuggets. Travis has got some good stuff on this. So, rapid fire good gold nuggets. Might sharing this one or you?
I think you've got this one.
All right. You must know if you are running Google Ads, and when I say Google Ads, traditional Google Ads, not LSA. If you are running Google Ads right now, today, you must know from your marketing agency how much money is being spent on branded keywords and how much money is being spent on non branded keywords. Now, what is that? Branded keywords are keywords that basically are searching for your brand. They are going to Google and typing in your name, your company name. Non branded keywords are keywords. Okay. They are keywords that are money keywords like movers, movers near me. They don't know what company to use. So they type in these vague or overarching sales keywords movers, movers near me, long distance movers, local movers, best movers, California, best moving company, Phoenix. That is a non branded keyword. Why? Why do you need to know the difference? Because you need to know what is working within the campaign. We have seen clients that spend $10,000 a month on SEO or on Google Ads. They come to us because they're being told that they're getting an $80,000 return on investment. They're getting told that. And so they're going, man, I'm being told I'm getting 8 times ROI, but I don't see it. I don't feel it. Something's off. Then they come to us. We audit everything for them. And guess what happens? We find out that of that $10,000, $8,000 or $9,000 is being spent on that cold traffic, the non-branded, the movers, the moving companies, the movers near me. Those are the ones that you want to see a return on investment on. But we see that $8,000, $9,000 is being spent on that, and they get one or two moves out of that. They're massively throwing money down the toilet.
Yeah,
But
let me hold on. Let me interrupt here. I want to bring in
all
the
right,
specifics because it's even worse. It's even worse than you put it. Okay. So
really, I need to
yes, it's
update
even
this.
worse. So this we're talking about quarter 4. I know the story. I know the client. Hint. It's an
Yep.
awesome client. And so this is they invested $30,000 into Google Ads during quarter 4. They come to us. They're like, hey, we're thinking about making a change. They're pulling in $80,000 of revenue from Google Ads. Awesome. That sounds like all right. There's some decent things going on. Maybe it's just some fixes. Well, come to find out, of that $30,000 spend, $27,000 came from the non-branded campaign. So they had 2 campaigns that they were running. One was non-branded, going after local movers, movers near me, Austin movers. The other one was going after branded key terms. Not going to tell you the brand. So the problem was, of that $80,000, only $9,000 came from the non-branded campaign. So I want to isolate those numbers. They put $27,000 in and they got $9,000 back.
Wow.
That's a negative ROAS of 3.
We call that throwing money in the trash.
Giving it away. You're never going to see it again. And one of the things I wanted to follow up on, Travis said something really good. You should know how much money you are spending on branded versus non-branded. That is super important. You should know that. That should be agreed on from the beginning when you initiate Google Ads with a new vendor, a new agency. You should agree on that. If you're a company that thinks you should invest in a branded, do it. But you should agree on what the number is. Even better is you should know what revenue is coming from branded and what revenue is coming from non-branded. That is going to require some of the other things that we talked about from lead attribution. You don't have to do that. You are responsible for knowing it, as Travis said. You don't have to do that. Your marketing agency should provide that information for you. You should get a breakdown of what keywords drove what revenue, what campaigns drove what revenue. If they don't do that, you should run away.
Yep. And in this case of that story we're telling, the branded keywords were driving all the revenue. So when the agency was saying, oh, you're making money, they were only making money because people were searching their brand name and clicking on the Google ad. That was the only reason they were making money. Translation, they were throwing all the other money down the toilet. So great. I'm glad you interrupted. That was a great story. Travis, why don't you go on to gold nugget number 2 here?
There is a minimum spend for your Google ads. And we say that not because we're looking for a cop out. We say that because of what we've seen over the last 2 years of running Google ads for
What we've
companies,
experienced.
what
The
we've painfully
yeah.
experienced, what we have painfully experienced. We want this to win for you as a business. We want this to be profitable for you as an owner. What doesn't work is shorting the algorithm. Google wants to make money. And when you're playing the game of Google ads, you are agreeing to the contract that Google's going to make some money off of what you're doing. On the flip side, there are ways for you to make money as well in Google ads. One of the ways not to do it is to throw a $2,000 ad spend budget to a marketing agency, say, hey, go get some conversions, go get some clicks for me. I want to see a low average cost per click. What they're going to do is they're going to run either a branded campaign or a combination of a branded campaign, a performance max campaign, a display network campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but probably you don't really understand the difference between all those. But also, most people who are looking for movers make a decision that they're going to look for a mover. They go and search for a mover and they go find a mover. They go get a couple quotes and they make a decision. What they're probably not doing is they're probably not just browsing through their email and they're looking at all the spam promotions that come in through the display network. What they're probably not doing is they're probably not looking at YouTube and they're looking at those side ads and they see a moving company while they're looking up content or looking up for the latest highlights for an NBA game, or they're looking at a recap of Stranger Things season 5 release. And they're like, oh, there's an ad for a moving company. Let me go ahead and fill out a form real quick. That's probably not happen. It's a totally different ballgame than when you're playing with e-commerce or products. If you're selling a product, if you're selling a t-shirt, you might hit people at the right time and there's a reason for that. Moving's a different thing. That's a service by necessity. And
So
that is really a specific moment that you need to be capturing those people.
we tell people on average, if you're spending less than $5,000 a month on Google Ads for most cities and areas, we could almost take a $500 to $1,000 bet with you and say, let us install our attribution. And I'm almost guaranteeing that you are losing money. But let's share like briefly on a third grader level, why is that the case? I want to explain to them about the data we need to get back to Google and what that does. Like why are they wasting money if they spend $2,000 a month on Google Ads? Yet if they spend 5,000, they have the potential to make money.
That's great. So
It's a
I don't
great
want to make
question.
this. I don't want to make this too long, but this could be its own webinar topic as well. It could also be its own little mini series. If you'd be interested in that, I would love to put that together as like almost like a
A
assassin
bonus.
series, assassin series for you as a business owner to be able to know what's going on with my Google ads right now. So why is it important to have a budget? When you are opting into Google ads, you are opting into a auction. You are going into a marketplace where there's a bunch of different business owners that own moving companies. And you are saying, I want to bid this amount for this lead that's going to come in. So the problem is when you start out from ground zero, you are going into the same auction with no history, with no reputation, with no data. And so you're just saying, Google, this is what I'm willing to spend and this is what I want. Problem is Google doesn't know what you want. Google doesn't know what converts for you, whether it's a commercial move or a local move in your specific marketplace. If you're looking for long distance, Google has no clue. So the problem is you're going to start going after keywords and there's going to be some leads. There's going to be some people that come through that actually don't convert, that have nothing to do with moving. And so the problem is that Google doesn't have that understanding and you're limited by the spend because that's how many times you can participate in that auction on a monthly basis. I'm trying my best to bring this down to third grader level. The budget you have is the amount of participation you can do in the auction. So if you can participate more with a larger budget, you can get a better understanding and you can give a better understanding to Google of what you are looking for. Bring it down to a practical level. A $2,000 budget over 3 months is $6,000, which means you're going to get X amount of clicks in 3 months time frame. And those amount of clicks and those amount of conversions is what Google needs to know in order for you to start turning a profit.
Yeah.
Now you take that same number, but you fast forward it and you bring it into a month one. Well, all of a sudden in month two for scenario 2, you already have some profitable ads. And then you go into month 3 and now it's really hitting the burner. The problem is if you have a lower budget, it extends your timeline of optimization. It extends the timeline of Google learning what is a good opportunity for your business. So lower budget, longer optimization, honestly, for me as an owner, kind of more painful as a journey. That might be where you're at. That might be where you have with the ad spend budget. but that's a really long journey for you to be patient with when it comes to
It's a
Google.
long journey, and there's too many things that can go wrong and at risk. And your job is to get into this auction. And when you come to the auction with little money compared to your competitors, because it's the most sophisticated auction is this Google Ads auction, then you go to the table with less money. You have all chances, all more things point to you failing. So just wait, like the $8 million company does, and wait till you can afford in your area. Now, if you're like, I really want to do this, what's my area? If you're in like one of the 30 major metropolitan cities, you're bidding on Dallas keywords, Chicago keywords, whatever, in one of those cities, you need to have a minimum 5,000. Now, if you're in a random town in Alabama, you might be able to get away with a little less, but it's still something you need to consider. So
Yeah. Thank you, Travis, for saying the minimum of 8,000 for those metropolitan areas. Thank you.
oh yeah, 8,000, not five. Okay, here we go. It focused on realtor lunches. Here we go. Moving on. We have 5 minutes to basically hit two more, I believe, or three more. So let's get going.
Okay, I got this one really quick. This is actually pretty simple. And disclaimer, this is one of your greatest ways as a business owner to help and support your SEO efforts. Get directions. It's a lovely button on your Google business profile. We all know where it's at. We use it to go to our restaurants that we like to go to or to get to our grandma's house. Get directions. This is a great tool for you to use for your team. So this is very, very practical that I would love for every business owner to do today that is here today. Please also let your client success manager know that you are opting into this, because I would love to be able to actually look at this in 2 to 3 months and say, these businesses actually took action on this. Let's look at the results. Get directions. Very, very simple. Your company, your moves or your movers go out on jobs. When they come back to the office after the day, or when they come back in between jobs, they go find the business profile and they click the get directions button, and they actually make the drive to your business using the maps. Even though they know the route, they don't have to look at it, but they actually do the practice of searching for your business, finding the Google business profile, clicking get directions, and driving to your business.
Or even you as the owner.
Or you as an owner, when you're coming into the office at the beginning of the day. Basically, anytime somebody is coming to the business office, use the get directions function, because what you're doing is you're creating a signal of engagement and activity in Google's eyes. Okay. Now, there's a fancy word in the SEO world that's called CTR manipulation. What's great, we're not even participating in that, because these are real people who are driving to the Google business profile. Sweetener. Does everybody understand? Put a 1 in the chat if you understand the practice that I'm talking about. Okay. Sweetener. You can get even better is, instead of your move crew, or instead of your lead mover or your truck driver, instead of them typing in X moving company and then find the Google business profile, do a keyword search, a relevant money keyword search. Local movers, city movers, Chicago movers, Los Angeles
Movers near me, long distance mover.
Do one of the money keywords. If you need help on the money keywords, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. Do a money keyword search. And no matter where you're ranking, don't be discouraged. Go find the Google business profile. As a result of this, you might have to do a couple scrolls, but encourage them to use the city keyword, encourage them to use the money keyword, and then do the get directions and come to the business.
Super sneaky.
It is very sneaky. And again, if you're going to opt into this, if you're going to give it a try and you're really going to commit to it, one, we can track it. It's in the performance metrics of the Google business profile. So we will see it. But two, let us know, because I would love to be able to actually gauge on a macro level as Rotate Digital. I would love to gauge how much of an impact can this actually have for your business.
We say this because we've seen this work, and we've seen this help people get better rankings. And so you may be sitting here going, man, my local rankings aren't there, and I'm not ready to spend a bunch of money on SEO just yet, because I'm going to be the $8 million company and wait till I can fully invest. Well, then start with this. There's a great way. Get reviews and start with get directions. A great way for you to have some sneaky tricks to try your best to get rankings up. All right, moving on. Don't let the AI hype take all your money and energy. All right? Some of you guys are shocked right now that I'm saying this. Here's what I'm not saying. What I'm saying is AI when it comes to marketing, not AI for everything else. Marketing when it comes to AI for marketing, getting ranked on ChatGPT, getting ranked on Claude, getting ranked on Gemini. Okay? Don't let it take all your hype, take all your money and your energy and your time. Now, here's what I'm not saying: that the AI, getting ranked on AI is not valuable. It is valuable. But what I am saying is this: a lot of you guys come to us and you're so intrigued with AI, so passionate, you want to spend money. This is all you want to talk about. Yet when you look at the core of your foundation of your business, you need to get better reviews. You barely rank on Google, which, by the way, Google is a big foundation where AI pulls from. And you're so focused on AI, but AI doesn't have the leverage just yet. And that's something you need to know. We looked at our leads in quarter four from all of our clients. We combined all the leads, 46,000 total leads, calls, form submissions, etc. All of our clients, all their leads come together, summed up 46,000 total leads in quarter four. Guess how many leads came from ChatGPT? 389. So are those leads important? Yes. Did those leads convert? Yes. Did it make money for the client? Yes. That's so amazing. But when you look at all those leads, the reality is majority of those leads when it comes to Google came from Google SEO, came from a Google search, came from Google map listings. AI is valuable. Don't get us wrong, but don't just spend all your time, money, effort, and focus on AI. You've got to be in the foundations. You've got to focus on your leverage. And as a leverage, right now in 2026, AI is important, but it's not your focus to spend your money on. Get foundational Google SEO working. That will drive most of your leads. And through and with that, you will be ranked on AI. Now, you may be a business owner that goes, I have money, I have time, I have availability. Great. Our big clients, they spend money on getting extra AI work with us. Awesome. But most of us have a limited budget, and your budget needs to be focused on foundational Google stuff, not AI stuff. All right? Moving on, this is one of the most important ones, and we're timing this up just fine as we end. So get ready for your questions. If you have questions on anything we talked about, now is the time, because if I get to the end of this next slide and nobody has questions, we will end it. So this is your time to ask anything about any marketing, SEO, attribution, anything we talked about. Get it in, put in your questions. Here's the most important slide right here. Are you guys ready for it? The cool people, the cool movers, they read Movers Marketing, a no BS guide for moving companies to win on Google and maximize ROI. Guys, I wrote this book for you. You can open it up per chapter. You're about to do Google LSA or want to learn more? Open up to the LSA chapter. You're interested in AI and lead attribution? Open up to the lead attribution chapter. If you have not read this, this is tactical. It's not about how to set up an SEO campaign or how to set up Google LSA. It's about how you, as an owner, can leverage it, what you need to be aware of, how you get screwed over by marketing agencies, how you get the most advantage and leverage from each channel. So if you haven't read it, go on Amazon, buy the book, buy the Kindle, buy the Audible. If you're like, I don't want to, then go and fill out rotedigital.com/book or use this QR code and you can get a free book and I'll send it to you myself personally. I want to send it to you on my dime if you haven't read it because I want you to read it because it has so much value. I don't know if it's only $1, but I don't actually know the cost of it. But if you're concerned about that, don't worry about it. Get this book here and I'll send it to you. If you want to send it to a friend, another moving owner that you know, just to make sure they read it, go to there and fill out their information. So I want you guys to know that this book is here for you to help you sift through, or as Travis said this morning, so you can ride down the snow with some clarity. You can sift through the marketing with some clarity. All right. So go and do that. 2026 is yours. You got to hear me out. 2026 is yours. Okay. But if you're going to take 2026, you've got to beat your competitors. Ethically and morally, you've got to beat them. And you do it through having a better sales process, by having your attribution dialed in, by answering the phone calls, by compensating, by tying compensation to performance. That is how you win in 2026. This is your chance. It is yours. Look at this guy's ready for you to take over 2026. Business Ric Flair right there.